Hey there, Christopher McClure here from Wholeness Geeks, and welcome to Meditation Happy Hour. Happens every Friday around 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and it's a time when I share meditation techniques, processes, perspectives, both traditional and modern. Today, I'm going to share what I would consider an update on Soul Kernel. Soul Kernel began uh, almost a year ago, at the end of last year, uh, after a stay of 11 days in the hospital. And it was kind of a, it was needing to anchor in uh, a deeper sense of beingness and a portal for my soul to come into my physical body. And um, since then, it's updated, it's upgraded. And what I want to share with you is the most recent upgrade. And I'm going to be going through it fairly um, fairly quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the initial steps because I've done that before. And so if you're wanting sort of a deeper foundation, go back to the Wholeness Geeks page on Facebook and check out the videos there. So there's 9 elements in Soul Kernel 9. That's why it's called Soul Kernel 9. And the original, excuse me for a minute, the original Soul Kernel had 4 elements. And actually, up until just maybe about a month ago, I was still operating with 4, and it's just it, needed to move forward. So we start out in Soul Kernel. We start out with the Dantian. It's the physical center of the body. It's 3 fingers below the navel, 3 fingers in, and but what we do there, the way we kind of anchor our attention there is using pulse. Now, pulse is one of the 3 body cycles that you can observe going on in your body, and they can be meditation objects. And the cycle, um, the pulse cycle, the other 2 are respiration and sensation. And pulse is kind of a subset of sensation. Um, but with all 3, you can, when you get practice at observing them, you can experience them anywhere in your body. In fact, you can experience them outside of your body. Now, pulse, the most obvious example of pulse is the heart beating. Where I find a really good place to actually feel the pulse, actually, like feel it, like with your fingers, is in the xiphoid process, which is that soft area just below the sternum. But what we're doing is we're actually bringing the observation of pulse down to the dantian, which, like I said, is 3 fingers below the navel, 3 fingers in. Okay, so we have those 2 elements. Now we're going to add the 6-pointed star. Okay, Star of David, the Seal of Solomon, the interlacing triangles. It's a symbol. There's 2 triangles. One's facing up, one's facing down. The one facing up is a symbol. Well, the one facing down is a symbol. It symbolizes involution, which is spirit coming into matter, and then the one facing up symbolizes evolution, which is matter going back to spirit. So what we're doing, we're using this geometric figure as a yantra. A mantra is a repeating sound. A yantra is a repeating visual. And what's repeating here are the sides of the triangles, right? So we start with the upward facing triangle and the base. We have the base, right side, left side. Then we have the downward facing triangle, the base, the right side, and the left side. So what we're doing is we're driving the attention to these successive sides of the triangle with the pulse in the dantian. Okay, so that's the third element. Now, the fourth element is attaching a mantra to that yantra, to that moving around the sides of the triangle. And the mantra that we're going to be using is Om Mani Padme Hum, which is a 6-syllable mantra. Essentially, it means the whole universe is found within the lotus of enlightenment. So Om Mani Padme Hum. We're not saying this out loud, we're saying it silently. If you say it out loud, it's hard to actually feel the pulse. So we're just saying it silently as we move around. So Om Mani Padme Hum. But we're doing that down in the dantian. Okay, so that's the third element, the fourth element. So there's the original soul kernel, 4 elements. So now what we're adding to that is we're adding the atlas, which is the tongue on the roof of the mouth, right? And what that does is it creates a connection between your body and your head, and also what it does is it kind of distributes. If you've got some attention going on with the dantian, it distributes that attention through your body. All right, so we have the atlas. That's the 5th element. Now the next element is it's one that's derived from the Tibetan eye chart, and it's called contouring. And what it is, so with the Tibetan eye chart, you have this kind of intricate shape that is on a sheet, and you put it up on the wall, and then you put your nose to it. Excuse me. And then you follow the edges of this shape, with your nose to the wall, and so you're exercising your peripheral vision. But essentially what you're doing is you're following the edge of all these different shapes. And so if you take that practice, the following of the edge out into the world or into the inner world, you follow the edge of whatever it is you're seeing, and that's contouring. So we've got that. Now we've got a 6th element, which is we're in the dantian with the pulse, with the 6-pointed star, with the atlas, and now we're starting to direct that out into creation, into the world, the outer world or the inner world, and following the edge of shapes. And the next element, which is actually kind of combined with this element, is called the hoop and the tree, which is a spiritual principle that's found through many traditions. It's probably most visible through the American Indian tradition. And the hoop, or rather the tree, is the heaven, or the vertical heaven or spirit element, and then the hoop, that's the tree, and the hoop goes around the tree, and that's the creation or the matter element. So what we're doing now to kind of internalize this principle is we're taking that 6-pointed star, and we're instead of it being like on this plane, we're flattening it out, so it's on a horizontal plane, and we're hooping that 6-pointed star around the edge of what it is we're contouring. Okay, so that's now we've got 7 elements. We've got the dantian and the pulse and the star and the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, and the atlas, which is bringing the energy up, and then it's going out through our eyes or through a third eye, and it's following the edge, and we're hooping that star around the edge of what we're seeing. So that's the seventh element. The eighth element is this notion that if we take our attention, like this attention that we've just kind of developed in layers of system stacking, and we turn that around and we face it towards who is looking, we realize that who is looking is not a static thing. It's not a solid thing. It actually kind of opens back into infinity. And I call that what the who. So what the who is the eighth element, so that we've got this practice which is combining the forces of involution with the forces of evolution, and the evolution is ending up into it's pointing back, it's pointing into an infinity. So that's the eighth element. And then the ninth element is simply that when we notice that we're having discursive thinking, we've lost focus, we've kind of drifting, not doing the technique, we simply label it thinking, and then we come back to the practice. So that's Soul Kernel 9. And so like we usually do on Meditation Happy Hour, is we're going to meditate for 3 minutes and 33 seconds. We're going to do this meditation, and then I'll probably take some notes as we're doing it, and then I'll come back and share those notes and a few other points that I want to make. So let's go ahead and begin. Just to review, Dantian. If you only, if you don't get past, if you're kind of new to this and you don't get past the pulse and the dantian, that's fine. Just allow yourself to be at whatever level is comfortable. But the whole practice is the dantian, the pulse, the six-pointed star, the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, the atlas, contouring, both inside, outside, so you can have eyes closed or eyes open, the hoop in the tree, and then what the who, and then thinking, to just kind of monitor this process. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, we're back. So this is a works in progress. You know that it's obviously there's a lot of elements, and there's a we're nurturing a process or a state of being, which is actually is fairly profound. Um, it's actually what I understand to be the state that we're engendering is a state of theta, which is where there's a merging of inner and outer, and that's really we're moving towards oneness, in this process. Um, if when you're doing this and you feel like a pain in your body, what you can do is you can, close your eyes, at least initially, close your eyes and see if you can see that pain and then contour the edge of that pain, right? And eventually, when you do that enough, you'll be able to actually do that with your eyes open. You'll be able to kind of merge that visualization even with your eyes open. So, yeah, there's a word, that was coined by Robert Heinlein, who wrote Stranger in a Strange Land. The word is grokking. And, maybe that word's been used in different ways over the decades, but the original notion is this idea that basically you become one with something, you know it so well. And this practice of this Soul Kernel 9, I think what we're doing here is grokking. Or a form of grokking where we're actually connecting with our soul, and we're embracing creation with our soul. So there's like a very deep kind of state of being that's being realized through this practice. Um, and like I said, we're moving to a state of oneness. We're on the path to, human beings have a unique ability to merge with the universe. And, when we realize that capability, then we're realizing our divine humanness, and which eventually leads us to be stewards of life, of all life. And so that's, this Soul Kernel 9 is sort of like a big step in that direction. So if you want to, I think what I'll do is I'll create a chart for this and I'll put that with the video. But you can, if you're interested in, being in touch, discussing, even sharing your own, meditation methods, you can do that on the Wholeness Geeks Facebook group. But you can also join the Welcome to the Shift Show Facebook group or the Gaia Core Facebook group. So I'm Christopher McCore, and this has been Meditation Happy Hour. And what I've shared today is Soul Kernel 9. Thanks for viewing.